Tabletop Simulator, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so all right, let me go to. All right, so Dino, how familiar are you with the game, much less the Tabletop Simulator mod?
I just played Magic Realm a lot.
Okay, sounds good. So, what you're going to want? Oh, hey, Fencer, I'll assign you a color here, and let me assign my. Come on. Hey, Quasi, welcome.
Oh, don't assign me a color. I'm sorry. I'm just watching. I don't have time today.
Okay, sounds good. I will assign you observer then. Is that because? Are you still bitter because I killed you off? I killed myself off.
Sure, I'll go with that.
For those who haven't watched the video, Urban played it, was just playing wonderfully, and then he had to go, and so I said, "Oh, I'll take over your character," and within 2 turns he was dead. So yeah. Quasi, do you want to play today, or do you just want to watch? I can't hear you, Quasi, if you're talking. Okay, I'm going to get going explaining to Dino Dog just how to grab a character. So if you push Shift 8 right now, Dino Dog, it will take
Okay.
in Tabletop Simulator. It'll take you to the characters or to the heroes and spells. You're going to do 2 things. You're going to grab one of these class cards, whichever one you want. If you want a spellcaster, then great. If you want to go bashing monsters, typical Magic Realm style, obviously Barbarian, Warrior, Knight are great choices. And then you're gonna. So that's the first decision you have to make. Do you want explanations of anything, or do you want to just kind of grab one and just kind of roll with it?
I'll just grab the Barbarian.
Sounds great. You'll drag that over to your player board, and you are green. Is that right?
Right.
Right. So you'll put that right here. Okay. And then the second thing you want to do is on the cards below is you'll want to grab. Oh, Fencer dropped. So if is to grab a race or a lineage card, and those are right here and right here. Each group is the same. There are just 8 different representations. You can flip over the cards to see them. Humans are fast attackers, elves are magical, dwarves are a little bit tougher and better at dodging, and then halflings are all about speed. Okay. And so you'll want to put that one right here.
Got it.
Okay, so that combination, and by the way, if you ever want to get back to your card, Dino, just push Shift 2 and it'll take you to a close-up view of your card.
No, the camera's not set yet.
The cameras aren't working for you? Interesting.
I'll set it to.
Yeah,
to
okay.
that.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, so you're an elf barbarian. You get the cubes that are shown down here on your board, and those cubes are in these little bins right here, here. The pink cubes correspond to the hearts that are on your card, so you'll get 3 of those. And if you don't mind, I'll grab some of these and help get you all set up. Deal?
Great.
Okay. So you got 3 health. You have 3 brown and 3 red, so that's pretty straightforward. We'll grab those for you. Is everybody else grabbing their characters?
Yep.
All right. Kind of figured as much. Oop. Okay. And then the final thing, Dino, is because you're an elf, you get one magic cube, which can be any color, and then your special advantage is you get to select one spell. So you are a unique barbarian. You're actually a magic-using barbarian. So we'll do this fairly quick. There's you're looking at these spells up here. Right up here. You can grab any one of these spell cards for your hero. Now you can only cast spells that require 1 cube. So these ones that require 3 on the far right are the most powerful ones, and those you can't do. I recommend maybe something like a heal spell or something like that. Perhaps. I'm just thinking out loud, right?
Okay. How many cubes does that need?
It's literally the number of cube boxes on the bottom of the card. So like heal requires 1 cube, and you get 1 cube. So if you grab heal, I would highly recommend, obviously, you grab a white cube. And the cube goes in your healthy box. That spell goes right down here. Right there. Okay. You can cast the heal spell. We'll talk about that when we get into the game a little bit. Okay, next thing to do is just everybody can grab their little token and drop it in the blue bag that says turn order on it, which is right here. I took the liberty of just building the map. Normally, we're playing an open realm game. Normally, you would simply... we would deal out these tiles to everybody and you build the map. In order to save time, I just built it myself. Okay?
Fine.
All right. So we need one more in the turn order. Oh, Pablo, you're not playing. It's just the two of them. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go ahead and Pablo and Urban, feel free to contribute as well if you have comments to make during the course of the game. We'll play a 2-player game. We'll just have the two of you play. And off we go. Deal?
Sure.
Is that the right token? Hang on 2 seconds. Yeah, it is. Okay, so cool. So the turn order is the Barbarian is the first player. Okay, so on the first turn of the game, and so let's go through the actions real quick just for your sake, Dino. If you zoom in on your player board here, all your actions are on the top of the board. You can sneak, which helps you hide. Hide is done a little bit differently than Magic Realm. It is a reaction. It's not an action that you do. You can make noise. If you want more monsters to come, you can make noise. Usually not a popular option. You can alert. That allows you to rearrange any of the cubes on your board, or sorry, any of the cards, possessions on your board. Oh, we have to get your possessions too. And then you also can play +1 cube during combat. When you're in combat, you can only play 5 of these cubes on your various items. I'll explain that when combat comes around. If you've alerted that turn, you can play 6. So you're obviously ready to fight. Okay? You can move, search, and loot, all very similar to what you might be used to. You can learn spells should you find them. You can rest to get your cubes back. You can trade with other players and the natives, or you can enchant tiles. My guess is not a lot of that's going to be stuff you're going to be doing. You're probably going to go bash some things. So let me grab your starting items out of the game here for you. Give me just 1 second to find them. You have an iron helm and you have a big axe. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So I've put your items right here. Go ahead and George, you grabbed your items already, correct?
Yep.
Okay, great. So just flip that over, and then it goes on the location on your board that matches the little icon on it. So this goes on your head. This great axe goes on your two-handed or two-weapon space because it's a big weapon. Okay?
I see.
Okay, we'll deal with combat when we get to it. On the opening turn of the game, you choose any path that leads off the board and move your token onto the first space. Okay, great. So in moving onto a tile, you always pull one of the matching wilderness tiles or for that particular color. You moved on to a green tile. So come over here on this wilderness board there and grab a woods board and just drag one token out of that bin there right here. Okay, and just flip it face up by pushing F on that tile. Okay, you found a treasure site. That's actually really good. When you reveal a site token, I'm just going to put it over there off to the side. You then grab a site token out of this little pile here. Just grab one out of there and flip it up and reveal it in the tile. Okay, the trove is in space number 2, which is right there. Congratulations. You now have found where one of the treasure sites is, and that's pretty juicy, and it's really close to you. You have 4 actions per turn, and what you do on your turn technically is you grab a cube and you drop it on a space that matches what you do. You can do each multiple times, so you can pile up your cubes, but that's just a way to keep track that you have 4 actions to do. So what would you like to do next?
So can I loot this now?
Well, you're going to want to go to that spot, and then you're going to want to search for it.
Okay.
So another move action would be in order. And then move your token 1 space. All right, congratulations. You've arrived at the treasure trove. If you want to search for that, that involves rolling dice, and so you take a search action, and then you roll these 2 dice here. They're literally labeled search. They're over here. Okay, roll those 2 dice. You want 2 eyeglasses. Well done. Nice roll. So you found the treasure trove. If you look at this board right here, this sheet, and you can push Alt and it'll show you it. Finding a treasure site earns you 1 legend point and 5 fame. So in this game, we're keeping track of it. There are tokens in the game, but we're keeping track of it right here on these little counters. You can just left click on them to generate, 1 legend point here and 5 fame here. And you can just click on it and type too if that's easier. Okay, you have 1 action left. Now that you've found that site, you could loot that site, or you could play it safe and sneak in case monsters come. I would recommend the latter personally. But yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's the end of your turn. You can sit tight while George takes his turn.
Okay, I'm just going to grab some water. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, sounds great.
So it's my turn now.
Yes.
Okay, so I will go here in the forlorn tunnel.
Okay.
That's my first action.
Yep.
Movement. Second action is going to be a
You're
search.
going to want to grab a wilderness token for the cave tile.
I do that immediately,
You
right?
do that immediately when you enter, yes.
Here stuff. Let me do that. Right. What does it say?
Yep, and then you flip it over.
Treasure.
All right.
That's me.
So you grab a treasure from the pile.
Let me grab the treasure, see what happens.
Yep.
Something sad. Please.
That could be very, very good for you.
Yeah, I mean, so lucky.
So I'm going to provide a narrative. By the way, I typically talk quite a bit during these things. My humble apologies, just in case for people who watch the video afterwards. So when you reveal a spell book, you reveal 3 spells with it. These are the 3 spells that are attached to that spell book. So the possessor of that spell book can attempt to learn those spells. And George does have a black cube, which means you can only learn spells that you can cast. So George could try to learn this Raise Undead spell. So George, you probably want to combine those all together and just put them in on your player board.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. So
If you lasso them all and just push G, it'll pull them all together. There are some hot spots so that they kind of, yeah. And then you can just drag it onto your player board.
Right, so not bad. Goes in my. I understand
So
from the rules.
you probably want to put it in one of your miscellaneous spots. Those are items that you immediately have access to. If it's in your backpack, you can't learn the spells off of it. So you probably want to throw it in one of these miscellaneous spots. Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. That was one move. You have 2 left. You moved in. You're in a cave. Anytime you spend any part of your turn in a cave, you lose 1 action for the day. All right.
2 more. Now that's a nice dilemma. That's why I love this game, Scott. I mean, immediately I have a dilemma here. Should I search for the hidden path? Should I sneak or should I learn the spell?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, where you entered at one end of the Forlorn Tunnel. It's probably a couple days move unless you get lucky and find that hidden path, right?
Let me stick with the original plan. So I'm going to search for the hidden path for my second action.
All right.
What happens? Right.
Well, now you really have a dilemma. So
No, I'm going to search again.
all right. So
I'm going to search again.
when you search, yep. Go ahead.
I'm a stealth halfling, so I will.
Oh, yeah, true. You have better heights.
So I will try to leverage that. Hopefully, I will survive. Who knows? Famous last words. Let me try to reroll that one.
Okay.
Nah.
So in
No
this
luck.
game, Dino, when you search, if you search on consecutive actions in the same turn, you only re-roll your failures, and so you have better chances to succeed. So
Okay.
you did not succeed. Next thing to do, both players have taken their turn. So up here, Dino, are the dice, the summoning dice. Roll all 4 of those dice. Okay. So first we look at the white dice and we see if anybody is in a symbol, a tile with that symbol on it. And we do have 1 person in there. So that means that the number of monsters listed on the tile, in this case giant bats, this many of them are going to come to that tile. Okay, so 1 giant bat is going to come to the Forlorn Tunnel and move to where George is. George, you can go ahead and grab that one. The second thing we look at is this symbol, this carrion symbol, and we see if that's in any. It does not match the Forlorn Tunnels, and it does not match yours, so no monsters are coming to your tile. Okay, when a monster arrives in your tile, the first thing, or your clearing, the first thing it tries to do is block you, and now George has a choice. He can try to hide or he can try to fight it.
Okay, so I'm thinking loudly here. So if that thing hits me, I'm dead.
You are
There's
not,
one down.
you are not a tough monster fighter. You are quick on
Squishy.
your feet, but yeah.
Yeah. So anything touches me, I'm dead. I can kill it, but I have to hit it first because it's very fast because it's flying. So its maneuver is 3 and 4. So for the people who are watching, there's a 1 in 3 chance that the monster will flip. So generally, 2/3 look at the front side, and 1/3 of the time you have to consider that thing flipping. So the second number here on the browser cube on the right is its maneuver speed. I have to attack larger than 4, so I cannot possibly do that. I think my character has a maximum of 2 attack speed, as you can see. On my card that says Illusionist, so my highest possible speed is 2.
And that's right here is what he's talking about. Yep.
I I have one red cube, which means I can barely wield my staff and just do 1 damage to it, which is enough to kill it.
Yep. I'll zoom in.
I will have to be very lucky to hit it. And with the speed of 1, I have a maneuver. If he flips, he attacks for 2. I think I have good speed. So it's gonna be the dice first. Me versus the bat rolling, and whoever hits first wins. The other guy dies. I don't see any.
Well said.
Don't see any benefit because 8 fame won't do me any good currently. So I'll try to hide.
All right. So
What happens?
he's going to roll the both hide dice, and he can't have any reds. We'll note 1. Okay. So he is silent. He was able to avoid the bat. Now, I'm going to quickly mention your special ability. He is a halfling, and halflings are stealthy. And so if he had rolled a red, he can re-roll one of these dice 1 time. So if he had done that, he could have re-rolled this, and he still would be in trouble in that situation. But he's hidden. The bat didn't find him. The turn ends. We're on turn 1. We go to turn 2. We drop these 2 back in the bag. Now, do you want to cast a spell, George? If you do, your divination, you could, but know that you'd have to re-roll for your hide if you did. You don't have anything to loot, so probably not.
And there is no site with loot, so I would spare me the trouble of
Yep.
casting a spell right now.
Yep. Okay, great. We're on to turn 2. The game lasts 30 turns. Most points at the end of 30 turns wins. George, your turn first.
Right, so I either have to hightail it out of there or try to hide if I do anything. So if I do 1 action in the presence of the bat, I have 1 chance to hide, otherwise it will block me. So being sensible as I am, I will just move here.
I got it.
Thank you. That's my first movement on the cave.
Yep.
So I'll have 2 more, so let's see, I'll try to the near civilization location. What I'm thinking now in my head is that I want to learn that spell,
Yep.
but there's a chance I may get a curse, and curses are nasty, and the only way to get rid of them is go to civilization location and try to pay 5 gold to remove them. So when you try to learn a spell, I think it's best done when you're close or at a civilization location. So I will defer from learning the spell right now, and I will just do another move here, and then I will push my luck, again relying on my stealth ability, and I will do another test to try to find the other
Hidden path.
hidden passage.
All right, sounds good.
How that goes.
No
Okay,
good.
no luck.
Hey,
That's it.
one thing we did forget to do, Dino, is you also start with 17 gold. So I just gave it to you on your board over here. My apologies. I was
Thanks.
so anxious to get started. Okay, so cool. You are up, Dino. You have found the site. So and when you found this trove, we should have filled the trove out with treasure. And so let's set up those sites. Okay. Huh. All right, cool. All right. So this trove is now available for you to loot.
Okay. Should I sneak first?
You can. You can do anything you want. All right.
Okay, I'll sneak first and then I'll loot.
Sounds good. And worth noting, here are your loot dice. You roll those 2. This works where you just take the whatever treasure at that level. So you get the 5th treasure. I'll grab it for you since it doesn't matter if I see what's in here.
Okay.
All right. This is what you found, is that treasure right there. So we'll play open so that normally you would look at it secretly, decide what you want to do with it. We'll play open just because it's not that interesting to people if not. Okay, So these are bracelets of finesse, and they take 2 hand spots. So you'd put them in this light, this white dotted area. Yep, covering both. What this allows you to do is you can play one of your red. You don't have to. You may play one of your red cubes as a brown cube. One of them that you have up here. And there's in the rules, which is attached to the game, it shows you that over here. There's a full appendix that explains all of the treasures. Okay, so you have 2 actions left.
So did I get all the treasure that I can from that spot?
Say again.
Did I get all the treasure that I can from that spot?
There are 7 more treasures in that trove.
Okay, I'll loot again.
Sounds great. Seems like a wise move. Ooh, the second treasure. All right. So this is the treasure that you got. Okay. Do you understand that treasure?
No.
Let's explain it. I kind of figured. So this is this is the battle staff. It's worth 8 gold if you sell it. It has a length of 18, which doesn't matter other than if you attack with the same speed as somebody else. In which case, the higher number determines which attack goes first. Okay, it's a melee weapon, and then it takes up 2 weapon spots. So you can either have this, or you can have your great axe armed. The number of spaces, I'm going to drag it down by your great axe and just talk about it real briefly, just so that we can compare the two. Okay? These dark red spaces, you have to put a might cube on those spaces to wield that weapon. So if you want to use your great axe, you have to play 3 cubes. Remember, you have a limit per round of 5 cubes total. So during combat, your great axe is a great weapon, but you have to put 5 cubes on it. And then you get to decide, you have 2 cubes left to play. If you were fighting a monster, you'd have to decide, do you want to put him in attack speed or maneuver speed? Or, one or the other. You would decide how you want to build your combat for that round. Do I swing my sword fast or slow or medium, right? The amount of damage you do if you hit a monster is equal to the number of cubes, so in this case 3, plus however many sharpness images there are on the card. So you would do 4 damage if hit with your great axe, right? Compare that to the battle staff. The battle staff comes with a cube already on it. You never have to put a cube there. So that means you could play 5 brown cubes all in your maneuvers, your speed, your attack, or your maneuver speed. You can, if you wish, put 1 cube on there, but the most damage you can ever do with the battle staff is 2. My guess is you're going to be fighting bigger nasties than that, and so it probably makes sense for you to flip that over and throw it in your backpack and just save it for later.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, it made sense, but I'm not sure I'll remember it next time.
Yeah, it sounds great. I just wanted to make sure I explained it for the people who may watch this video later. Okay, I think you have an action left, right?
It's pretty cool.
Say again?
I like the mechanic.
It's pretty flexible. It's just wait until you meet the Titan. He's my favorite monster in the game so far, based upon what people are experiencing. We'll talk about that later if you see him. Okay. You have, I think, 1 action left, right? You've done 2 loots?
I'm going to loot again.
Sounds good. Tabletop simulator, my friend. Okay. Third treasure. I'll grab it for you again. All right, this is what you found. Okay, so let's talk about that one. That's pretty cool. So this is two things. First off, because it has a red banner, that means it's an epic treasure. That scores you points. Again, according to this chart on this sheet here, you get 1 legend point and 5 fame. So congratulations, you're crushing George right now. Okay. I'm going to drag this down to your board again just to drop it there so it's easier to see it compared to everything else. This takes a weapon slot. So if you put this in, you have to put your great axe in your backpack. If you do that, you get 1 purple cube, meaning your magical powers are expanding. But you can't use it to attack anybody. Again, my guess is I don't want to do this, right? I don't want to use that. There you go. Now you got it. All right. George, you want to roll the summoning dice? The first player always rolls a summoning dice, and it applies to all players.
More bats. Good.
Okay. So we compare the symbols again. You guys are not playing with the Swamps Terrain pack, so that is always a no monsters come. And then who has roar in their tile? Does anybody? No for
Not me.
The orcs. And no for you. So your no monsters come again. Good.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We are on to turn 3. Let's dump those back in the bag. George, you want to grab a token out, see who's first player?
At just a moment. Right. Okay. Yes, I will do that.
All right. It's our Barbarian. And so the other thing is at the start of the turn, all these cubes come off your board. Yep.
So there's more treasures left there, right?
Yeah. If you hover over this right up here, you'll see there are 5 treasures left. You hover over the card. So you're
Okay, it
still
seems like a good
good.
idea to collect those treasures because I'm getting points for them.
Yes.
So, but I'll sneak first again,
Okay.
and then I'll do a search.
Or a loot. Yeah, in this, loot and
Loot.
search are 2 different things. Yep. Okay.
Because I already found it, right?
You already found it. You don't need to find it again. The 4th treasure. I will get it for you. All right, that's what you found. Okay, so what does that do? Yeah, I know.
Let's see. It's another epic or
Yep.
special treasure.
It's another epic treasure, so you score points.
Yeah. I don't know what the symbol is
Yeah.
at the bottom. Oh, is that a weapon?
So you'll notice it goes on your belt location. So your belt is open, so you might as well put it there. While that is on your belt, you get a green cube. So over where the starting stuff is, there is a green bin. Grab a green cube and put it in your healthy box on your player board, which is what that symbol means. Okay. This is your wounded box. You want it in your healthy box. Yeah. So what does that mean? Doesn't mean a lot to a barbarian, but if you were to find a green spell, you could actually try and learn it, and you earn points for that. So, and then you also are now at 3 LP. You should have scored LP and fame. The way the game works is LPs, legend points, are the victory condition of the game. When you retire, you can, which you do at a civilization location, you convert fame into legend points at a 10-to-1 ratio. Make sense?
Yeah. Did
Okay.
I get fame this time?
You do. Anytime, it's always 1 legend point and 5 fame. It's not variable.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. And I think that you have 2 actions left.
Right. I'm going to keep looting.
Yep. It's what you do. The fifth treasure, there are only 4 in that location, so you get nothing and like it.
Okay. So now I'd have to roll a 1 or a 2 or a 3.
Or a 4. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll try it again.
Yep, 4 is still a pretty good chance. You always take the least favorable result. So you rolled a 4 and a 5, meaning you take the 5. There's 4 treasures. You don't get anything.
Okay.
All right, George, your turn.
Yep. First action, searching for the hidden path. Let's see how it goes this time.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. There's no way to mark it. Perhaps we could something.
Yeah, you would mark it in your adventure journal, which there just isn't a way to do in Tabletop Simulator. So,
And just
yep,
drop something in.
yep, I think it's a good idea.
Just to remind myself, essentially. So the second activity is move on the woods clearing.
Yep.
And the third activity and last one, because I've started my turn in the caves, is to go to the mine,
Yep.
which is a civilization location. And I think I have immediately, I'm assuming everything is shuffled here, so I have to pull 2 civilization tokens. Is that correct?
Correct. So, white text equals civilization locations. These are safe tiles. When you first enter a safe tile, you draw 2 civilization tokens to determine what merchants are located at that civilization location, and you reveal them. The smith and empty. So I'm gonna fill up the smith and so the smith is right here. He's got some goods for sale. If you zoom in on that, you can see that what he has for sale are 3 treasures, 8 items, and 2 missions. Missions are quests that you can complete. Okay.
Fair enough.
All
And,
right.
that's me.
Okay. So you were the first player, Dino. So you roll the summoning dice. Okay. Is anybody currently in caves?
Nope.
Is anybody currently in a tile that has an orc head? No.
No.
Well, you're all's quiet on your side of the realm here, Dino. Okay, great. We're on turn 4. And so somebody want to grab a token out of the bag there? All right. The Illusionist is first.
Right. Okay, so I will go to the
Yep.
mine.
And I'm going to move this just for a
First.
moment to show you that that is in a cave clearing. So now you have 3 actions.
Yeah, so essentially that's my first action gone.
Yep.
I have 2 more.
Yep.
So that was my move. The second will be a trade
All right.
for me to get a look on the smith,
Yep.
what he has to offer. So we are playing open information here, which is a co-op game, so lay them out. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it, mainly for the video. Normally, what you
Yep.
do, Dino, is you'd look at this information secretly. This is what the smith has for sale. He has the art. So he's got 3 treasures. Got a whole bunch of items, i.e., weapons and armor. He's a smith, after all. Now he's willing to sell all of this, any of this stuff, for the price listed times 3. It's always times 3. So he gives you a terrible price when he buys it from you and charges you an arm and a leg. I think that was the last one. Okay, so let's just walk through. He has these items with the wooden board as the banner. Those are all just regular items. They're weapons you can purchase. These are all treasures. Notice none of them are epic treasures. If you buy an epic treasure, you earn the points. You literally discovered it in a pawn shop, so to speak. This is a weapon that you throw, so it's one-time use. That's what the arrows represent, that it's a thrown weapon, and it does 4 damage. Takes 1 might cube. Hamlin's Pendant allows you to re-roll 1 search die each search action when you're in a mountain clearing. Mountain clearings are red. Okay. The Elven Amulet does the exact same thing in woods clearings, which are green. You'll note that you have a special ability as a barbarian, which is you can re-roll your search results in the mountains already, Dino. Okay. The final thing is he's got these 2 missions. White missions are quests. Red missions are atrocities and make you an outlaw. You can, if you become an outlaw, you can complete a quest and discard an outlaw token. It can work against you in the final scoring. So, you literally accomplish what it says on the mission, and you receive the rewards along the bottom. Gold, legend points, fame, and then you roll 1 bonus die for each attribute you have on your card that matches the symbol. So to be a jailbreaker, you got to be pretty smart. If the barbarian were to do a jailbreak, you're actually a pretty smart barbarian. You'd roll 3 bonus dice. So you're kind of prone towards evil, perhaps. Anyway, so George, do you want to purchase any of these?
I will explain my thought process for the video. So you can do several things on a trade action. The first thing is look at the stuff, which I already did. Then you can select any number between 0, 1, or 2 missions. You are allowed to have 2 missions active at any given time. If you select something you need to, and you already have 2, you need to discard another mission and to the bottom of the pile and get a new one. So I will get this one, 3 other, kill 2 treants. Just grab it for now and see what happens. Maybe I will approach these guys at some point in the future. So that looks good as a mission to have. And I can kill, treants have 3 life, no armor, so maybe if I get lucky. So that's my missions. Then the only thing I can do is sell stuff, which I don't have, but I still have 15 gold. So I'm going to trade here. I'm going to trade. I already have a staff, and I have a question for you, Scott. How many staffs are in the game? Because I took one for my Illusionist, so there are 3 in total, for instance.
Yeah, there is one staff. Staff is one of the more prevalent items, as you can imagine, easy to make. There are 4 of them in the game, I believe. And there's one, and so it's just the sum of how many are available for the characters, and then for the ones that are not real prevalent, I added 1 more. So there's 4.
But it still applies when you equip your character initially. You just grab stuff from the item deck.
Yep, it reduces the overall quantity of that item, but all items are still available.
Okay, fair enough. I will trade for the sword bow here on the bottom.
Yep.
The idea being I have a single red cube, which means I can wield that. It has 1 additional sharpness, and it is a missile weapon, which means I will be rolling dice, so it can go anywhere. So I'll just try my luck because...
Okay. And hey, welcome, Brick and Muskrat. I didn't see you join. Do you want to join? Do you want to just buy it for 9, or do you want to try and negotiate, try and haggle with him?
Well, for the sake of the video, I'm going to haggle.
All right. So the Smith respects charisma. Are you very charismatic? Not especially. You look at the number of icons. He's got 2. He has to roll equal to or less than that many on the haggle dice as the highest number he rolls. Good luck, George.
Thank you. I'll just give it a go, see what happens. And I will roll and I'll let Scott explain things, which is better for me.
So he rolled a 3, which is higher than the respected attribute of that particular merchant. So the haggle fails. The merchant ends the turn and says, I'm not interested in selling you this, and we're done talking. The trade action is over. George can do another trade action and either again purchase or haggle.
Yeah. So I have one more action, right? So if a question for you, can I buy the bow now in the same trade action if the haggle fails?
I'm so sorry. Say that one more time.
So I failed the haggle. Can I still buy the bow for 9?
You with another action. So once you fail haggling, the action is over. If you roll the door, which is right
Yeah.
there, then that merchant is so upset with you that they will not trade with you for the rest of that turn. So that's always the risk in haggling. There's one side of each dice that's a red door.
Fair enough. So I'll spend another trade action, which is my last action for this turn. Speed things up. Right. And I will just buy the bow for 9. Let me reduce my gold, so I will leave it 6. And I will get the bow. There's some nice armor there, but I cannot wield any of that. And so there's a breastplate and a shield. All of these require 2 might cubes, which I don't have.
Yeah.
So there's no point there. I was hoping there would be some nice leathers or something, but anyway. And I will.
So we and then that was your final action, right?
No, I can sell a thing. I can sell it in the same trade. Correct.
Yep, absolutely.
And I will sell that stuff.
Okay, go
So
check
the
the
smith is full of stuffs.
Congratulations, you get 3 gold.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. I think my turn is done now.
Okay, so I'm going to group these, flip them over, put them back on the smith. We add 1 mission. The merchants always have a full complement of missions. The smith has 2 missions, so that's so since you took 1, we add 1 more. Okay.
Here's a question for you. So on my second trade action, could I look at the new mission that arrived and take that?
That's actually a great point. So it's this one right here. You would have filled it after you took that first trade action, in which case, yeah. So, yep.
Let's have a look. No way, I can't do this, guys.
That's
Thank you.
an illusionist action. Hey, Brick and Muskrat, do either of you have an interest in joining in and playing? Let me know if you do.
I'm good for now, thank you, though.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Yeah, I'll probably back out for this one specific, but maybe on another one.
Sounds great. All right, Barbarian, Dino, what would you like to do?
Well, I kind of missed the mountains, so I'm going to head towards the barriers.
Sounds great.
So I guess I'll take a move action and move into the woods clearing.
Okay.
And then I'll move again
Yep.
towards the barriers.
Upon entering the tile, you grab a wilderness token for the mountains and put it in the tile. Reveal it in the tile. You are lucky. Okay, another treasure site. Do you remember what to do?
I think no, I don't.
You grab a treasure site from the treasure tokens and reveal it in the tile. You found 2 treasure sites in 2 tiles. It's right up here. What one did you find? The altar in 3, which is right there. All right.
Okay.
The altar is the home of the demon, if that matters to you. all the guardians, all the treasure site guardians are kind of nasty, to be honest. So, all right, that was I think 2 actions you've taken.
Yeah.
What would you like to do next?
2 moves.
Did you guys do a open realm play of this, or is this
We did.
since you have all the tiles?
Yeah, we did open realm. I actually built the map just to save time. I just built a map for them to play on. So
Okay.
in open realm, Muskrat, you enter from any one of these map edges that leads off the board.
Yeah, since I missed the beginning, I was like, that's a lot of map. How did they already make this much so far?
Yeah, they're not playing. So there, you can play this as an exploration option where you start on a single tile and you literally explore as you go. Okay.
Yeah.
What would you like to do, Dino?
So I'll move towards mountain. What's the different numbers? 2 and 5?
That just helps you know, like the altar appears in clearing 3.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Right?
it's just a
Now,
designation.
when you move into a mountain clearing, as it shows on your player board, that requires +1 move action. So it'll be take your third and your fourth action to move into one of those mountain clearings.
Okay, now I feel more at home.
Now, notice the interesting. Let's just move this for a second so you can see it. You'll notice this is a hidden path, right?
Oh,
So the
okay.
shortest route to that altar is to go here, then search for that hidden path, and then move into the altar. The way you're going, which is fine, if you wanted to get to the altar, you're going around this route where you go here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here, and each one of those takes 2 movement to do.
Yeah. So no, I'll move to this mountain then.
Just thought that might be what you wanted to do. Okay, those
Yeah.
are your 4 actions. First player was George. George, you want to roll the summoning dice? Okay. So, again, we're not playing with the Swamps Terrain Pack, so 3 wandering monsters are not coming. This symbol is the treasure site symbol. If you are in a tile with a treasure site, the monster moves to the treasure site. George is not. He's in a civilization location. How about you, Dino?
I guess I am.
Yes, you are, sir. So what happens is the monster at the altar, which is right here, moves to, we'll go ahead and grab him and put him on the altar. So guardians move a little bit different than other monsters. Other monsters go, I'm going to go eat me some man flesh here, in your case. Guardians go, I'm going to go protect my treasure. So the demon is officially here. Just for fun, I'm not going to tell you what this monster does on a fight. On one side, he's pretty easy to kill for you, or at least he can be. On the other side, he's pretty nasty for you. That's my foreshadowing.
Okay.
Or did you want more? Okay.
I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, that's the fun of games like this, I think. Okay, so Barbarian, you are first.
Okay, so let's see. First, I move all my tokens off,
Yeah.
and then so I'll go across that bridge.
Okay. You're moving into a
And
mountain
move.
clearing. All right. So that required 2 moves because it's a mountain clearing.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Third action.
So now I have to look for the hidden path, right?
That is correct. And so that is a roll of the search dice, the white search dice.
So that's a search action.
That is a search action. You find it if you roll 2 spy glasses. Okay, so now you have a choice to make. You found clues, You found one. You can search again, in which case you only roll this one, but it is your final action for the turn, meaning you're not sneaking or alert.
Okay. Yeah, I'll search again.
All right. So then you only roll your failure. That feels more negative than I meant. Okay. So you found it. Again, the game comes with an adventure journal, which is where you'd record that you had found that particular one, right? It'll come with oodles of pages, so you can scribble it down, and then you can actually save that for, posterity after the game, so you can revisit it.
I love that.
In an odd note, I have all my character sheets from when I played Magic Realm as a 10-year-old, and I can go back and look and see that I played with our neighbor and my sister on May 8th of 1980. I still have those sheets. What happened on day 5? Okay, so cool. George, your turn. Hey, and maybe a quick note again for the video. Something that we're doing is we're going to have this area on the journal pages that allows you to scribble out kind of the adventure of your character. So the goal is that you can, like, if you complete this mission, and I'm gonna this mission here, right, where you're the tree herder by killing the treants. The idea being you can read off the cards you've completed, the epic treasures you possess, the monsters you've killed, and it kind of describes your character. So you're, George, the halfling illusionist, tree herder, and wielder of, short bow isn't that impressive, right? But as you find epic treasures, and you can just scribble that on your sheet again to make it for all posterity, so you can, years later go, oh, I remember that game distinctly. I literally remember that exact game. Okay, anyway, sorry. Appreciate you allowing me to monologue.
No, I think that's great.
All right, what are you going to do, George? George, you are muted, just so you know.
Thank you. Just for the record, I just wanted to say that I also have about 50 or 60 character sheets from back in the day in the Magic Realm days. So.
It's really cool to look back on. I mean, maybe I geek out on that stuff, but...
I've soloed the game with all the 16 characters, at least a couple of times. That was nice. Right, so without further ado, the first action I will do is try to learn a spell from my spell book.
All right. So you actually, and I'm assuming you only have the one spell that you can learn, because these require white magic, and you don't have a white cube.
Right,
so.
let me try to bring it up first, because 2 whites essentially are relevant. I would have solved it, but I'll need to learn the black spell first. So I will roll the learn spell dice here.
Yep.
Is roll once. See what happens.
Okay. So, he's had 1 success and 1 curse. Doesn't matter how many curses you roll, he gets a curse. This is why he didn't want to do it in the wilderness. So on these reference cards next to the player boards, and so you can just look on yours here. It's on the back side of this reference card. He has to roll the d6 to determine which column, and then the d6 again to determine which curse he actually gets. So I'm going to have that up on screen.
Should I roll?
Yeah, absolutely. You're the guy getting cursed.
Yeah, I rolled too much stuff. So I rolled a 2 and then 2 and 4.
So you're ill. You may not perform a rest action. So you put a pink cube on ill on your curse card to signify that that's your situation.
I cannot copy items.
Oh.
I need to grab one from the bag.
Yeah. There you go.
Which one is it?
Ill.
No,
Ill.
it snaps to the grid, but anyway, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Okay, I'll turn it off.
I cannot see it very well there. Yeah.
I wonder why it's doing that. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It's not. It's. There's the next one up. It's just not quite matching right. Okay, cool. All right. So now, if you want to, and then you did it again. Is that what you're gonna? So if you want to learn the spell again, this one of those was a curse. He only has to re-roll the dice that aren't successes. The spell books are successes. So.
Okay, I'll do that. Second action is another learn.
Yep.
So I'll just have to roll the one die. I accidentally rolled them previously, so it's just the one.
Yep.
It happens. Yep, more curses.
All right. Lucky you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, let me try to roll a couple of them. So it's number 4, and then another one, 3.
So you are feeble. Your attacks do -1 damage.
Okay.
I'll mark it for you, and you can continue on with your turn.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I will try to learn again.
If he would have rolled the same curse again, would it just nothing's?
Yeah, that's curses are not. It's not cumulative, so yeah, he would just. That would be a good result for him, actually.
Okay.
Okay, and this is my third and last action for the day.
Yep.
And I will just reroll the new curse. And now I fail.
What a bummer. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So at the end, when he begins next turn, because it's a new turn, he doesn't get the benefit of only rolling his failures. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a bummer. You got to start over. He's going to be a cursed man by the time it's all done. Okay. All right. That's set. Dino, do you mind rolling the summoning dice? You are the first player. All right. So plains, we're not playing with that terrain pack, so that will always be no monsters. And then stench. Are you in a tile that has a stench to it?
Nope.
Lucky duck. Okay. So yeah, so you do not match, so this monster doesn't. If you had rolled either a monster, either the mountain or the giant, the carrion symbol, this demon would have left his treasure site to go to you. Just for the record. Okay, cool.
Got it.
All right, turn 6. First player is our illusionist.
So if he would have rolled one of those matchings, the demon would have moved and he would have spawned more monsters?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. So those two things are always occur in tandem. If the only and once monsters are in a clearing with you, they will not leave unless you roll the site symbol. That is always a sign for a guardian will move back to its treasure site, and that's the only time that a monster will leave a clearing where there's a person, where there's a hero. All right. Hey, Genrazian, welcome. Okay. So what are you going to do, George?
Right. I'm going to learn the spell no matter what. I'm a slow burn illusionist, so yeah, I will just reroll, try to teach myself something useful.
All right.
It's another guess.
Another curse.
Okay. I don't mind.
No, you... 1. You're on the other column. 4.
1, 4.
Blank. All cubes on spells must be in primary color. Okay. So...
Okay, fair enough.
Yep. And so just so that means is I'm going to hop over to the spells real quick. If you and I'll mark your curse in just a moment. That means if you're casting any spells that have this symbol on it, which normally allows you to play any color of cube whatsoever, while that curse is in effect, you have to play a yellow cube if you were playing a yellow spell, or a blue cube if you were playing a blue spell. It's very limiting because getting a bunch of the same spell is sometimes hard to do. Okay, so let's mark.
All right, so you mean like no multicolor boxes?
Multicolor boxes don't exist for you.
Okay, fair enough. So I cannot fill it in then.
Correct. So I don't. Right. So great example is on your. I should have explained here on your Venom spell. You can't cast it right now because you have to play 2 gray cubes.
I don't have. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a big
Makes
deal.
sense.
All right.
Not a big deal. Okay, I will. Second action is again another learn, and I will try to roll this one now, and I learn the spell.
So when you learn a spell, it physically disappears from the scroll. The scroll becomes less valuable to sell, but you now know that spell, so it goes down to your known spells area. And in addition, he earns a legend point and 5 fame. Okay, that spell is now permanently his. Okay, cool.
Next action is, and I'm on a cave. I still have one action.
Yep.
Is a trade.
Yes.
I'm going to trade with a smith.
Okay.
And remember that he doesn't have anything I need, but I will sell the spell book to him.
All right. And George, do you mind walking through what the price of the spell book is, just for people?
Yeah, so every time you sell a spell book, you just add in the spells that it contains. The spell book doesn't have, well, I'm trying to dislodge it here. Yeah, as you can see, the spell book says X, which means it doesn't have a value on its own, so it's 5 plus 2, 7 gold.
Yep.
Minus, of course, the spell which I read. So I'm adding that to the smith's pile. I'm getting 7.
7 gold.
So the second thing I can do in the same trade action is pay to remove the curse. So I pay 5 gold.
That's actually a separate action. So you.
Okay.
Yep. So.
Get that.
And that is, the merchant isn't the one who removes your curse. That's a separate part of the civilization location.
Yeah, the Chris or something like that. Okay, 9 plus 7 equals 16. So I have 16 gold.
Yep.
I've made a profit. And I will leave the cases for the next round. So my round is done. Thank you.
Okay, Dino, you roll the dice. Or no, I'm sorry, Dino, it's your turn.
Yeah. So did I find that
You
path,
did.
the hidden path?
You did.
Yeah, I thought, okay. So now I can move to the altar or the
Correct.
cave.
That's a cave, which means you have a maximum of 3 actions anytime you're in a cave for any part of your turn. Hey, Cavalier.
Okay. Yeah, once I'm in the cave, I only have 3 actions.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
But it only costs 1 move, right?
And it's only 1 move. Yep. So now you got 2 actions left.
Okay. So now I have to search for the
That is correct.
treasure, for the altar,
Yep.
and I roll the 2 dice.
Yep. Boy, you are having good luck. Okay, so you found the altar, which means you earn.
1 of those and 5 fame.
Yep. And so, if at the end of the game, after 30 turns, you are in the middle of the wilderness, right? You convert half your fame into legend points. What you really want to do at some point is end up at a civilization location and retire, because when that happens, you convert 10 fame into legend points. So you spend it to get legend points. So if you were to retire right now, Dino, you would have 6 legend points, 6 points, right? To right now, George's 1 point, with fame being the tiebreaker. And the logic is, legend points are things you do that make you memorable for all time, right? Think, King Tut, think Napoleon, right? I mean, all these, Caesar. Fame is more fleeting, and think of that as like the Kardashians, right?
Alexander the Great.
That would be a legend point, my friend, and yes, absolutely. Okay, so you have 1 action left.
Okay.
Oh, hey, sorry, we forgot one really critical thing. Apologize. You probably wanted to sneak first, because when you moved, totally forgot. When you move into a site with a monster, he immediately tries to block you, and meaning you have to hide. So I'm sorry, proactively, you're right. You wanted to sneak. Okay, so you
Thanks.
roll the hide dice before you
Hide.
before you did that move. Okay, and so you successfully hit. So you've done your 3 actions, right? You snuck,
Yeah.
you moved, and you
Right.
searched. If you had rolled, just to be clear, the reason a person sneaks is anytime you roll even a single red, you're unhidden. The monster's found you. On a turn where you snuck, you can ignore 1 red. So the only time you're not hidden is if you rolled 2 reds. Okay? All
Okay.
right, cool. That's the end of the turn. Time to roll the summoning dice. And that's you, George. Okay. Nobody. Doesn't match anybody. Because we don't have any roar symbol for you. And George is in a safe location. It's worth noting there are a couple of treasures that can make civilization tiles not safe. They're really valuable, but they're also nasty. And then no, we're not playing with planes, so no monsters come. We're on to turn 7. Worth noting, now you can. We're now in the battle phase, actually, before we turn to turn 7. If you want, you can emerge from hiding to fight this demon. I'm going to drag this down by your board so we can talk about it a little bit, just so that people understand how it works. Okay, so you did not alert. So you have a maximum number of cubes that you can play on a turn, Dino, of 5. You have to play 3 of them to even wield the Great Axe, which means all you have left, you can play 2 of these cubes. Okay, 2 brown cubes for speed. You can play them either on maneuver, right? Or right here, oops, right here. Or you can play them on, attack speed or maneuver speed. One is used to determine how quickly you hit the monster. The other one is how well you dodge the monster's attack. So in this case, this monster, and if you were to go after this monster, it has an attack speed of 2. So it's as if it put 2 attack cubes in the attack speed and 1 cube in the maneuver speed. And if it hits you, it does 4 damage. With me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you hit armor, so there's a golden rule of combat in Dragon's Down, and that is this. Every time you get hit, you either die or you get wounded. Getting wounded is literally moving one of these cubes down to your wounded box, and you can't use it until you rest. Okay?
Or
Now,
heal.
what's that?
Or heal.
Right, rest is healing. Yeah, or you cast a heal spell, exactly. So if he hits you, he will hit your armor first. You cannot die while you have armor on. That's not a 100% true statement. You can get wounded to death, but you can't die from 1 hit if you have armor. His attack of 4 is bigger than the armor value of the Iron Helm, which is the 2 in that shield. So if he hits you, he's going to destroy your Iron Helm, and you would wound one of your cubes. Okay? And it can be this green one, even. Oops, that green one, right?
Okay.
So, final thing, though, is note that if this demon, if you hit it, and you have 3 cubes on your Great Axe, that's 1, 2, 3, plus the sharpness, 4 damage, and the demon takes 4 damage. So you would kill it. So you just have to hit this thing 1 time. Okay? Now the bad side of the demon counter is this other side. George, do you mind moving your hand for a moment so that I can show that? Thank you. So the demon casts a spell called Fiery Chasm at a speed of 2. And what that means is when it's time to process the demon's attack at a speed of 2, if it flips over, it casts this spell called Fiery Chasm, which literally kills everything in the clearing that can't fly. And can you fly?
No.
No. So what happens is you would compare its attack speed of 2 against however many cubes you placed here. And if you didn't place 2 cubes here, you're dead. You're just dead, outright dead. So like I said, the demon can be tough on that one side. But again, if you hit it first, you kill it. So anyway, but do you want to fight it? Do you want to not want to fight it?
Yeah, I want to fight it, but I'm going to have to get walked through it, I think.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so cool. So the monsters always start on their face side. So on this side is where he starts. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure you meet the requirements of your weapon. So place 3 red cubes in those boxes. Okay. So if you hit, you do 4 damage, which would kill the demon. Now the decision time. You have 2 cubes you can place, and you can place them in any way combination in those speed boxes for your attack speed or your maneuver speed.
So, total of 2, right?
A total of 2. And so if you look real quick, so this demon on this side has an attack speed of 2, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, you could put 2 cubes here, and because the 2 cubes is bigger than the 1 in its maneuver speed, you will absolutely automatically kill the demon because you have more cubes. You swing faster than it dodges. The risk is, of course,
seems like the thing to do.
Yeah, the risk is that it flips over. If it flips over, it kills you because it has an attack speed of 2. And when there's a tie in attack speed, you look at this little red number and compare it to your weapon length. Fiery Chasm is higher than your Great Axe, and so you hit it first. If it doesn't flip over, your 14 is faster than no number, which means it's a 0, so you would kill it. So it really comes down to that die roll if you place the cubes the way you have them to see whether it flips. A 1/3 chance that it will flip over. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I think so. Where do I roll?
So, once that happens, you roll this die, and if you roll a red face, it flips over. My hope is that you don't roll a red face. Okay. A blank means it stays on this side. So let's process through the attacks. You have an attack speed of 2. It has an attack speed of 2. Your weapon has a length of, so it's a tie. So how do you determine which goes first? Yours has an attack length of 14. It has an attack length of 0, which means it's trying to grab you. So yours goes first. You compare your attack speed of 2 against its maneuver speed of 1. You are faster. You hit the demon doing 1, 2, 3, 4 damage and kill it. Congratulations. Take the demon counter, put it to the side of your map. You are now, Dino the Elf Barbarian and Demon Slayer. You also get fame points equal to the number shown in the little broken symbol on the right side, the broken tokens, which is 14. So you get 14 fame added to your total over here. All right. Cool.
I have 2 quick questions.
Fire away.
So the first one, the bracelets of finesse that he has on, what is that? What's the
Yep.
I was about to say symbology, which I know is not the correct word.
Oh, I can argue whatever, that works. Symbology. The bracelets of finesse, not a super valuable one, but can be really useful. He can play, as part of his 5 cubes, he can play 1 red cube in a brown box. It has to come from his healthy cubes, meaning it counts against his level. So if he had a weapon that didn't require 3, he could have placed one of these might cubes down here to be maneuverable.
Okay, so it's kind of like a conversion from red to brown.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay, and the second question, so on the Demon's Fiery Chasm side,
Yep.
how would you stop that from hitting you?
And this would have been, like, if I was playing this, I probably would have played it a little bit safe. I would have put my magic cubes I'm just going to put this back where it was, if I can put it in the right spot. I probably would have played it this way. I would have played a faster dodge, and I wouldn't have played anything in my attack speed. So I'm going to drag this down here. So appreciate the question. I appreciate George and Dino, you letting me do this little divergence. what would have happened is if he had flipped over, he has an attack speed of 2, right? But I have a maneuver speed of 2, so it's not an automatic hit. When you don't beat the speed of the target you're attacking, you roll these 2 hit dice, and you always take the worst result. So I would have rolled those 2, and a blank means, oh, you dodged that spell. It literally didn't hit you. Okay?
Okay. Now, if he would have had 3 for the maneuver instead, it would have just been a
no. It's
total miss.
So two hits is always a hit. Doesn't matter about the attack speed. So that's the risk in this case against this fiery chasm. If it had been, you may recall, George's character has the ability to play 4 maneuver cubes. Doesn't matter. 2 hit symbols equals a hit.
Okay. So there's not an automatic fail situation. It's either a dice roll or an automatic hit.
That's correct. Now here's where it comes in. There's this equal symbol on a hit, and that means the hit attacks if the speeds are equal. And that's what the situation we had here. So look, the Guardians are just tough. There's always a risk to it. And the biggest thing about the demon is when he flips over, he's just nasty. He can wipe out a bunch of heroes at once, right? Okay, so thanks for the questions. Hopefully that helped. Okay, cool. So that was the end of combat. We're on to turn 7. I already increased it, and we're ready for the next thing, which is the Illusionist.
Alright, so the first thing the Illusionist will do is let's do a trade action.
Yep.
Pay 5 gold.
Yep.
So go back to 11 and remove the curses.
Yep. So that breaks all curses, and I'm just going to remove these cubes off. It also removes any permanent spells. There are permanent spells in this game that can be kind of nasty if they arrive at the wrong time, and sometimes you want to get rid of them. There's a spell that allows you to break them, but most often what happens is you go to a civilization location and you throw some bucks at somebody to get rid of that. Okay, that was one action. You got 2 left, George.
I think if I had any wounds, they will be removed as well. Yeah. Correct.
It does not heal wounds. No, you have to rest to heal wounds.
Yeah. Okay. So only curses and spells then.
That's correct.
This 5 gold.
That's correct.
Fair enough. So I'm starting my day on a cave. I have 3 actions. 1 is already gone. So the second one is a move. Right. Let's move here. See what happens.
Right.
The secret den, which is a cave, and I need to pick up wilderness token immediately upon entering the tile, and let me flip that thing, and it says gate on number 3. I will let Scott explain how a gate works.
Yeah, each terrain pack has 1 gate token, and all gates are connected. So if a gate were to appear on the other side of the map, you could, for 1 movement point, move between them, or 2 if it's in the mountains. So it's a way to travel around the map faster. But unfortunately for George, he doesn't really need movement. He kind of wants treasure. That's nothing. There's nothing there other than some monsters that might come pick on him.
Yeah, I'm a slow burn kind of character.
That's right.
So I take things very, very slowly. So I will sneak back to mine with my 3rd and last action, where it's safe, and just stay there and listen to dwarfs gossiping. That's me.
All right. Barbarian.
Okay, well, I think it's time to collect the treasure.
Yeah, and that is looting. And that's the altar. There are 6 treasures on the altar. And if I'm not mistaken, the altar has, 4 of those are deep treasures, which have a strong tendency to be more valuable. 4th treasure. I'll grab it for you. When you play this game in real life, there's a very, it just feels good to have that tactile countdown 4 cards. There's your treasure right there to count out the cards. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Epic.
Yep. So it's worth noting that, again, remember, normally you're playing in secret. You're playing in secret, right? Where you don't You don't show what the treasure is. If this is a treasure and you want to score the points, even though you can't use the treasure, you reveal it to everybody and say, I found the Band of Sagacity, and then you put it back face down. So you scored your points. You already have something in that location, so you would have to de-equip the Earthen Cincture. This one is the Band of Sagacity is if you put a yellow cube in here during the combat round. So you put 3 cubes up here, maybe you put 1 cube down in one of your maneuvers or speeds, and you put 1 yellow cube there, you can re-roll 1 hit die result, yours or either the one you're doing or an attack against you.
What if I don't have yellow cubes?
It looks like a great item to sell to a merchant. You don't lose the epic treasures. You get, or you don't lose the legend points for selling an epic treasure. Okay.
Oh,
I have a question.
Yeah.
The rules say that you can only put cubes in a single card apart from your lineage and class. So if, let's say, Dan puts red cubes in his great axe, is it against the rules if you put a yellow cube on that other card? Because that's a different card.
There is, if you look under the treasures, it does say that there's an exception that you can always put cubes on non-weapon treasure cards. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then, hey, one other thing I wanted to point out that you guys probably haven't noticed and often gets overlooked. Next to each of these terrain setup cards, there is what's called a civilization card. These are ways to earn legend points with other things. And so if you look, the Sanctuary of the Sacred Grove, they are looking for unused spell books, spell scrolls, or tomes. So if you have one of those items, you can do a trade action at the Sanctuary and donate it to the Sanctuary and earn yourself an LP. You can do that any number of times when you have those items. The mines of the Underking, the dwarves, which is where you're located, they're looking for a weapon treasure, an armor treasure, or a treasure that's very valuable. And they will give you an LP. Those can only be claimed one time. So it's a little bit of a race if multiple people want to do that. And then the Knights of the Bannerets, they are looking, you have to earn points killing monsters and then come here, give them 40 gold, and they will give you a title. And again, that gets added to kind of your story, right? Hey, I'm the Slayer Lord, or whatever the case may be that you add to your.
On that one, does it start top down? So like, if you're the first person, you get the top one. For the Knights of Banneret one. Yeah,
so that's the one you want to claim because top down they get less valuable as other people claim them.
Okay.
On that particular one, and it's worth noting.
I saw that, but I saw nothing that really specified how you picked which one you got. So I didn't know if it was just that you started top down first come or not.
Technically, you can put it anywhere, but there's really no reason to do that. And these are double-sided. There are different ones on the back side so that it gives you variability to your game. So the dwarves aren't always looking for the same thing each game session. Okay, cool. That was just your one action. You got 3 actions left. So this goes face down in your backpack.
okay.
And again, Dino, thanks for letting me explain other aspects of the game for the video.
No
I thought
problem.
if you revealed epic treasures, they had to stay face up in your back.
Nope. There are some epic treasures that have a red backpack symbol on them. And the rules say, so instead of a belt symbol, it would have a red backpack. Those are always face up no matter where they are, even if they're in a civilization location. So,
Okay, I must have missed that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to loot again.
Good man.
We also now have a 5-year-old watching the game, by the way.
Oh, very good. I appreciate the warning. I didn't plan on using language only suitable for 6-year-olds, but.
He can't hear anything. I have a headset on.
Okay, sounds good. All right. 5. I'll grab it for you. All right. This is what you found. It's worth noting there's a treasure manifest, so you don't ever have to remember any of these things. So that would have been a great one for George. It removes all curses when you drink it. A potion symbol means one-time use.
Nice.
Could have saved you 5 gold there, George.
But I will have to find some sites first.
All right. We have 1 action left.
So another loot then.
All right. Ooh, you get the top treasure. Well done. All right. So that's worth noting. If you put that on your hand, and I think you have a hand spot. Oh, you would have to get rid of your bracelets of finesse. But if you did, that gives you an extra box in your attack speed. So where you have 2 boxes, you have now 3.
That seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it just goes on one hand.
That's correct.
And then this goes in my backpack.
Exactly. All right. George, you want to roll the dice? Okay. We have no matches because nobody's in a cave that isn't a civilization. Cave, and it's a cave tile. It's worth noting. I know you're in a cave, but you are in a mountain tile. This is a mountain tile. The barriers printed in red, and having the mountain symbol on it underneath the word juvenile dragon. So nothing matches. And so
Okay.
we're on turn 8. Okay. First player is Illusionist, George.
Right. Taking things slow. So first action is a move here
Yep.
on the cave. Second action is a move on the woods clearing here, which means I need to grab another cave's wilderness token. This will not be a gate. This time, see what happens. What is that? The site. Right.
Good.
So I need to grab the site. Can you do the honors for me, please, Scott?
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
grab the site and fet it. Thank you.
Catacombs, location 4. Hey.
Deep in the cave, so thematic sometimes, isn't it? Right, and yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's equidistance essentially from where I am. So there's no point in searching for.
Yeah, right.
What is the guardian master for catacombs, please?
If I tell you honestly, I forget. The Death Knight. So
Is this
not super. Where? I wonder where the.
Death Knight?
Yeah,
He's undead and armored.
he's undead.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yep.
Excellent. I can control him with black magic and have him sit there and watch me loot the stuff and never
So-
attack me.
Yeah, it's worth noting that this spell actually you need 2 blacks, right? Which means you need to enchant the tile because you only have 1 black cube.
Yeah, I have 1 black, but I can enchant the tile and get the second one that way.
That's right. Okay, so you got 1 action left, I think.
Yes, that's correct. And yeah, right. I'll move here.
All right. Barbarian.
See what happens.
What would you like to do, Dino?
So I think I start with three actions
That's correct.
because I'm in a cave.
Yep.
And from this cave, can I go to this mountain in this other tile,
You can.
the high pass?
Yep. It doesn't matter that you're moving from a cave. You have 3 actions for the whole turn. and it costs
Yeah.
2 to move into the high pass.
Okay, that's what I want to do.
Hey, and folks that are watching, Brick and Generazian and Muskrat, if you guys want to see a particular part of the board, because I know that you guys aren't in the TTS, don't hesitate to ask me to show something. Okay, so that was 2 actions. You got 1 left.
Random thought that I just had. The Death Knight, or not Death Knight, the demon is now just gone permanently, right?
So the demon is gone permanently. So, yep, that was a good kill.
Okay.
So from here, I can search this.
Oh, yeah,
clearing?
so when you move in there, you pull a red wilderness token and put it in the tile, face out. Those are
I do have a question.
right there. Yeah.
So the poker chips, are they as big as like they are on the board?
They're actually they're actually a little bit larger relative, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But generally, it's like that kind of size, I guess.
Yeah, the comparison's pretty good. The tiles are pretty large. They're
Okay.
okay. So do you know what that means, Dino?
So I think we pick a treasure.
You just grab a treasure for free off the top of the pile. Thematically, you stumbled on the carcass of some dead adventurer or something along those lines. Right here.
Okay. Potion of maneuver.
Anybody? So even to the group on the phone or on the Discord, what do you think that one does?
You drink it and you get a free brown cube permanently.
That's right. You drink it. The potion says it's out of the game. The infinity symbol means it's a permanent bonus, and you get an additional maneuver cube, or you can sell it for 13 gold.
So with my last action, can I drink it, or is that not
That's
an
not
action?
even an action. You can find that thing and take a swig, and then take your and then take your third action. So, you want to drink it?
Yeah.
All right, that's gone. Poof. And what we do is we just grab you another brown cube out of there. I'll grab it for you if you want, just to speed it up.
Thank you.
There you go. You now have 4 action cubes. Now, again, you have so much might you have to put into your great axe. That's where, if you like that battle staff, if you find a monster that's not as tough, it's not a bad idea. Okay, cool. You got 1 action left.
Funny mission thought. Drinker of potions. If you have so many potions drank, you get that title at the end of the game.
I love that. That's
So
wonderful.
can I search? Is it something I should do?
There's nothing to find at that location. There's no secret paths or hidden paths, and there's no treasure site at that location. So, you could alert to be ready for monsters, or you could, sneak to avoid them.
I'll alert.
All right. Cool. George, you want to roll a dice? I think you were first player. Okay. Oh, this looks like a lot of fun. So interesting. If you, the demon's dead, so it wouldn't have come back even if you had stayed in the tile. But you did match the mountain symbol, and I think you're in a mountain. One of the wandering monsters from the mountains comes, and that is a juvenile dragon, as shown right there on that symbol. So you are coming. A juvenile dragon is coming to say hello. All right. So let's drag this token down here again, just to kind of look at it from a combat perspective. I'm not going to provide too much detail. I just want to. You can look it over and look at the counter and decide if if you can hide or you can fight it, right? And and I'll show the back side of the token. That's the front side of the token for the folks who are watching the stream. That's the front side of the token. That's the back side of the token. We should take a poll of the folks on the watching the stream if you would fight this monster or not. Okay.
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to fight it with my great axe.
Yep. And so, you notice how the number 2, which is its health, where the little wing symbol is because it can fly, you'll notice that is in an armor symbol or a shield symbol. So what that means is that removes 1 sharpness from your attack. So you'll do 3 damage if you hit that thing, but you only need to do 2, so 3 damage kills it. Hey, Fencer.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
How do you want to put your cubes? You alerted, so you can play 6. So you can play 3 more cubes.
Okay, so I can put 2 here.
Yep.
And 1 down below.
Yeah. And does anybody see anything else he could do? Just as a thought.
He could put it in the clashing ring. That way he has a attack speed of 3.
That is correct.
Oh.
So if you wanted to swing super fast, you could actually put, instead of that brown cube in maneuver, you could put it in the clashing ring. Do you see how that? So this symbol is this symbol. So you actually, technically speaking, you have 3 boxes for attack speed and 3 for maneuver speed.
Oh, okay. So I can kind of set it over here. Whoops.
It's worth noting, I'm going to put this back just for a moment, you can't place an extra cube. It would have to be one of your 6 cubes that you place. So you wouldn't you're standing there taking a big old fast swing. If you wish.
So I have to pick a different color?
Nope. Yeah, let's take a quick moment. So it's a brown space. What I'm saying is I'm going to take this off. So you've placed 2 here, right? And 3 up here. You have 1 more cube you can place. If you wanted to attack with a speed of 3, which is way faster than it, you would put a cube up there. And that is the equivalent of putting a cube down here. You don't have another box because you're an elf barbarian. You only start with 2. This clashing ring gives you a 3rd box down here for attack speed. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I have a question here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I thought the limit was normally 5 total cubes.
Yep.
Why is it seemingly 6 in this case?
He alerted. He took the alert.
Oh, he
action.
alerted. Okay. Got
Yep,
it. Thank you. Sorry.
So he can play 6 instead of 5. So the way to think about it, Dino, is we place this up here because it's on your hand, right? But this is in reality similar to as if this was right down here, where this box is on your is down here. You've given a speed box, an attack speed box. You have a bonus attack speed box because of the clashing ring. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll do then.
Okay, cool. So first thing we got to do is we have to roll to see if this guy flips over. Now that you've determined your tactics, we do what is called monster tactics. So you roll that die right there. Okay, so he flips over. So this is the side you're now facing. So we look at attack speed. You're a 2. He's a 2. You're a 1, 2, 3. So your attack goes first. Do you automatically hit it?
I think so.
So what that would mean is that your number of attack cubes, of which you have 3, is greater than his number of maneuver cubes, which is the second brown number, which is a 3. So it's not an automatic hit. Okay? So you have
to beat it?
So you beat it to hit it automatically. You have to roll these hit dice, both of them, and you have to not roll any blanks. Okay. So you always take the least beneficial result, which is a blank. You missed the monster. I'm going to blame whichever one of the folks watching the stream suggested you do that. Just kidding. Okay, so your attack misses.
I'll take it.
All right, sounds good. It was a great idea. I would have done exactly the same. His attack is a 2. What's your maneuver speed, Dino?
It's 3.
Nope. That's your foot symbol.
Oh, okay.
You're 0, right? No cubes. It's not the number of boxes, it's the number of cubes. So think of it as like the boxes is your potential. How quick are you on your feet? The boxes is, well, how much effort did you actually put into it? So because it's 2 to your 0, that is an automatic hit. It hits you with this strength, a strength of 1. It hits your armor, which is a protection of 2, so it doesn't damage your armor at all. But anytime, remember the golden rule of combat, anytime you're hit, you either die, in this case you didn't die, or you're wounded, which means you have to select one of these cubes and move it down to your wounded box. It's unavailable until you rest and get it back, or cast the heal spell.
Well, I'll take this pink one.
Okay, sounds good. So worth noting, when you get rid of health, that means if you're hit, if you don't have armor and you're hit with a strength of 2, you would die. So you're kind of taking it in the face, which is fine. I don't think you have any worries. We'll see. Famous last words. Okay, we're on to round 2 of combat because both you and the monster are still alive. How would you like to place your cubes? You can change it or you can leave it the same.
Question about the alert action.
Yes.
So it says you can use 6 cubes, but on the board it says a +1 brown. Does it have to be a brown, or is it just any 6 cubes?
Technically, it's any cube, but the reality is you never place you always would place blue cubes. So I called it a brown cube for simplicity. Yeah.
Okay, so if he had 4 reds, he could put another red instead of another brown.
Well, what you do is you would place 4 reds. There's 4, right? And then let's say you place 1 on the quick ring. Your 6th placement is a brown cube.
Okay.
Yeah. Put another way, I did it for simplicity of iconography, but it because you will in combat you'll always place at least 1 brown cube. So.
Okay.
Yeah. But the reality is it represents you could place pretty much any cube you wanted. But okay, cool. How would you like to place your cubes, Dino?
So if I take this one and move it down here.
Yeah. So what does that mean at this point? Right? His attack speed's 2, yours is 1. He still hits you automatically. You need to put at least 2 down here to avoid his attack.
You can use this one then.
Okay. But now, how many cubes do you have placed on cards?
One too many.
Right, so you got to remove 1 from your attack speed. That's your might. You have to always cover the bright red one. So you have to remove 1 of those too, probably. All right, cool.
Okay.
Now we roll to see if he flips over. So you roll that black die again. He does. Okay. So, somebody want to explain the process? I'm happy to do it if nobody wants to.
So the dragon has an attack speed of 1, which matches his.
Yep.
The tiebreaker is the length of his great axe, which means he attacks first.
Yep, because his 14 is higher than no number, 0. So your attack
And then-
goes first.
But then the maneuver is higher, so you have to roll.
That's right.
He'd have to roll the attack to hit.
Yep, that's correct. So you roll the 2 hit dice, Dino. And what was the result?
Miss.
A miss. That's correct. So you missed again. He's attacking you. His attack speed is 1. Your maneuver's 2. So he doesn't automatically hit you this time. We roll the dice for him to hit you. And you don't want to roll 2 hit symbols. I said you don't want to roll 2 hit symbols. Okay.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. Okay, so here's the situation. He hits you this time with a strength of 3, which is bigger than the weight of your iron helm. So your iron helm gets destroyed. Okay? But because he hit armor, he can't kill you. So that's gone. And again, what's the golden rule of combat?
Wounded.
When you're, yep, so you have to move a cube down. I'd suggest you move this green cube down because you don't need it. Right? Okay. We go to the next round of combat. How would you like to place your cubes?
I think I'll just keep it the same.
Sounds good. Roll the dice to see what the monster does. That die. Okay, so it stays the same. Your attack goes first. Again, for the exact same reasons. It's the exact same repeat of last round. Okay. Do you hit it automatically?
I think so.
So you have 1 cube in your attack. And its maneuver speed, which is the second number on the token, is 2. So you don't hit it automatically. You have to roll the 2 hit dice. I believe in you, Dino. Okay, so he misses. You missed him again.
Yeah.
His attack goes. So a 1 versus your 2 maneuver. So it's not a hit. Automatically, you roll the dice. This could be bad. You truly do not want to roll 2 hits, because if so, bad things happen. Anybody want to walk him through what happened?
Barbarian just died.
The barbarian just died. Can you explain why?
The damage from the juvenile dragon's 3. He only has 2 pink health ones that are in his healthy pool.
Right.
That is more than what he's got, so he's dead.
Yep. So when a monster hits you and you don't have any armor, and your armor was destroyed, right? What happens is the monsters. You just look at the number, the damage. If the damage is equal to or greater than the number of pink cubes in your healthy box, you're killed. So Dino, it was a brave fight. Now, when you die, what happens? Okay. When you die, this right here, half of this rounded down goes away. So this goes to 20, and there's a little glitch in mine, but that's a 20. You then convert on a 10-to-1 basis to LPs, right? So you're at 7 LPs and then this is a 0, right? Okay. So that's your final score. Congratulations. 7 LPs. Now here's the funny part. Let's go over for a second over to the Illusionist, who's sitting at 1 LP. If he were to play the rest of the game and never get to 7 LP, you win the game. Okay?
Crazy.
Now normally what happens, so you can win as a dead legend, right? Think John Lennon, right? But what there isn't player elimination in the sense that what you normally do is you then grab these 2 cards, you put them off to the side. There are legend point tokens. That's why they're tokens. You would throw 7 legend point tokens on this character, grab another hero. This equipment, by the way, your carcass now becomes lootable, right? So all your items just go in not your cubes, but all your items would go in a big pile. Right? We'll have a little treasure or a little token, like a little A token that we'll put in the site on the board, and that says now you can come and loot Dino's dead carcass to take these treasures, some of which you may never get because it's literally loot die roll. Okay? You got to search it, find it, and whatnot. Okay? And then you'd be back in and you're playing a new character.
Yeah.
All right. I'd say you got bad advice, but I don't think the advice to you was that bad. You didn't play that. You didn't play that poorly, right? I mean, so yeah. Anyway, probably
Love
good.
it.
Good timing. We're we can happy to keep playing for a while. If George, if you want to keep going. So.
It's up to you guys. I'm happy. Just one question, please, Scott. For the summoning dice, the Death Knight should appear in the catacombs now in this turn, shouldn't it?
Yeah. So
Because they were
so if you rolled, did you roll that? Oh, we rolled a site. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, this guy.
it was the heat of battle.
Yeah, we were so busy doing that battle. So the Death Knight is now in the catacombs. Right.
Can I ask for a favor? If you can save, is it possible to save the game
And send it to
so I
you.
can continue it
Yeah, happy.
on my own?
Happy to do it. I'll save it and I'll send it to you over Discord.
Thank you very much, because I'm curious how the Illusionist will fare.
Yeah. So why don't we take a few minutes and answer any questions that people have? Other than why did you all fail me from Dino?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's
No,
interesting.
I love the system. I think it's good.
So let me show you something, Dino, real quick. Again, I'll just zoom in on this Dino token, or this juvenile dragon token. So you may recall you had the ability to swing with a speed of 3. So if he was on this side where he could harm you with this 3, right? Because that's what did you in. You would swing before him because his attack speed is a 1, and his maneuver speed is a 2. So you'd automatically kill him if he's on this side. When he was on this side, his damage was so low that he couldn't even punch through your armor. He would wound you every turn, but he would just punch through. He would have trouble punching through your armor. So the likelihood of him killing you was actually pretty low if you had just said, "I'm going to stand here and throw really fast punches at him to try and kill him with my axe." And so to me, that's one of the coolest things about the combat system are the nuances of the barbarian fighting against a juvenile dragon. There's a way that he can do it where he is at very little risk. But then when he faces the Death Knight, it's a different story, or it might be a different story. I don't remember the characteristics. Or a bat. Like a bat is really trouble for the barbarian because it's so fast. But that juvenile dragon, you know what? Not a bad thing. Anyway. Okay, questions.
Let's be real. The reason he lost was because the demon still scared him so much, even though he beat it. The dragon was just like, I don't know what to do.
I'll
That
go
must
with
have been
that
it.
story.
Yep.
But and let's be clear, right? The land of Dragonsdown is dangerous, right? He didn't quite get a third of the way through the full game, but he still was able to score 7 points. He had a nice little running. He only visited 3 tiles. So you think about, this is 3 terrain packs and provides a really rich experience. 1 terrain pack can actually provide a rich experience. You can imagine if you're playing with, if you buy the expansion, you're playing with 6 players total, but you also have, 10 more tiles on the map.
So is this all the tiles from the 3 expansion, or from the 3 terrain packs?
This is a complete, if you load up the Tabletop Simulator module, it is a complete core game. And
Okay.
all thanks to Fencer and Angelus, who I don't think is on anymore. They're the guys who created this, and I provided graphics and feedback, and I've done.
Listen,
nothing but
I've got a
steer.
few workshop ones that I've got for some other board games, because I've only recently been getting into board games,
Yeah.
and I've look at like just all of it that's set up and just go, I don't know how any of this even works. Like, how did they do all of this?
Yeah.
So I will always be like, yeah, people who can do this job, I salute you.
Yeah. And if you're into Arkham Horror, that board is amazing.
Yeah.
I say I've got one for Nemesis, because I found Nemesis is what started me into the board games, if any of you have ever played it.
Yep.
And then I've been slowly pretty much backed a shite ton of board games on Kickstarter that I'm just now like I want them. Like I want them to have so that I can start playing these things.
Yeah. There's Nemesis is a very thematic game, and I'll even throw out that's kind of the goal I've gone for with this game is that you feel like you're in a death match with this stupid fast moving juvenile dragon who then suddenly turns and takes a huge bite out of your face, right? And and that this barbarian was in good shape, right? So any
I got a
questions?
question. Down the line, are you anticipating any more terrain packs? And if so, are you going to have to issue 8-sided dice or something?
Yeah, we'll. I already have the solution for that. If we do add terrain packs, I'm not going to get into it now. Just for simple, just because I'm in play testing and it's not ready.
Sure.
So, but probably the more likely route would be something like adding an additional D6 that increases it a bit, right? Like increases frequencies and stuff. So anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now,
I hope you do.
it's perfectly balanced with 5. All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey, you're so welcome. Sorry you died, Dino.
It was fun.
Yeah, short and sweet. All right, cool.
Barbarian's got a tough life.
Oh,
Sorry, was there a question in there?
No, I was just saying Barbarian's got a tough life.
Yeah, So for those of you who didn't watch there's a playthrough where Ostadan Urban is what he goes by on Tabletop Simulator. He played gloriously as a barbarian and had just built up this really cool character. Then he had to leave, and I took over his character, and within 2 turns I had killed him off. So, my apologies. Anyway, all right. Yeah, go ahead, fire away, Muskrat.
Well, I was gonna ask more of a semi-personalized question. What's your favorite caster class combination to do?
Oh, I'm going to hop over to those just so that people can see them as we're talking about them. What I like is how variable it can be. It's really fun to run around with a halfling archer, or some combination like that, and trying to snipe monsters. I love playing the enchanter and playing this kind of civilization-based strategy because the yellow spells the yellow spells, if you look here, they don't have any impact on undead, and they actually have like charm. Like, hey, let's go buy stuff for cheap. And if you're playing in a multiplayer game, the enchanter can actually be this character who's like negotiating deals and earning credit, buying stuff for characters and things like that. And then they use disorient and discord to keep monsters from coming after him. It's really fun to play that. And then every once in a while I just want to go clobbering monsters, and I love playing the knight and then trying to get a heavier weapon because the longsword isn't quite strong enough to kill the toughest monsters in the game, right? So, a specific favorite character is really tough. Sorcerer is more about all his spells, all the spells for the sorcerer are all about, beating things up. Conjure is really fun. I love playing the druid because the druid, I know you asked me which my favorite, now I'm talking about all of them, but I love bringing in the druid and then trying to grab this elemental spell where you summon a monster to do the fighting for you. Right? So.
Are
Which
you guys
on that
restarting, ending, or what's going on?
Say that again?
Are you guys restarting, or are you guys ending for the night, or what's going on?
So I have to end for the night, but we have sessions planned for all this week, both Q&A sessions and gaming sessions, and so I created a channel on the server called Looking for a Game, and there are folks playing this game quite a bit, so you should be able to find one pretty quick.
Oh, okay. So what does the expansion add?
So the expansion adds, let's take it out this way. So this game has 3 terrain packs, and the easiest way to explain it is via these terrain setup cards. It adds 2 additional terrain setup cards, which means additional merchants and treasure sites, including some really cool ones, like it adds the sinister swamps and the perilous plains. The perilous plains has another treasure site for the bandits. So the bandits become this roaming band that moves around the map. It also adds the Omni Crux, which for most of you is probably better known as a beholder, who has a treasure site called the Monolith, and it adds 2 additional merchants. The swamps adds another bandit site. It adds a lost battalion of undead soldiers that have a treasure site of their own, and it adds in a Hydra, which is a pretty unique monster as well. It also adds about 40%, don't quote me on the percents, 30%, 40% more treasures, both deep treasures and regular treasures, including some really cool cursed items that make it so that it's really powerful to use, but it comes at some penalty in some other place in your character. It adds additional items, it adds additional missions, right? And it adds, and probably most importantly, is it adds two new lineages. It adds the half elf and the half orc, and it adds 10 new characters. So you get 12 in the base pack, you get 10 more in the expansion. Now you get 22 classes to choose from, and 6 different lineages. So you can imagine the multiplication of those, how many possible hero combinations there are. Make sense?
Yep.
I had a similar question, kind of that kind of answers half of it. How different, like if you play caves every game, like how different can it get? Is it very similar? Like what is different?
So
like if you could show more of a components perspective rather than like, because I'm not too familiar. I've watched some gameplay, but I'm not familiar with all the different stuff. So like when you say items and this and that, if you could just kind of drill down from like, because there's that board over there. If you want to like zoom in on like the caves board or whatever, and just kind of go through like just drilling down like the caves specifically. Like what's different game to game than like the caves.
So if you let's say you were going to start a game and you said, you know what, I want to set up in 5 minutes, right? You could play with just the caves pack, right? So you set up this board. You don't have to put any of these treasures out here, right? So you just set up that board. You shuffle these 5 decks of cards, okay? On the missions, there you'll note that there's a little symbol that says what pack it's from. So if you encounter a mission that's not, either you remove them, or and only use the cave missions, or you could just ditch the ones that don't belong to packs you're playing with. Okay, but anyway, so there are 3 treasure sites in the cave, so you'll always be playing with the altar, catacombs, and trove, and all of those determine are what monsters you would fight. So the great worm is always at the trove, but the treasures that you would get, right, are from this stack. There's 57 treasures and I think 30 deep treasures, and so if you're only playing a game with 6, 7, 8, 9, if you play with the caves pack, the most number of deep treasures you're ever going to have in a game is 9 of the, I think, of the 30 that's in the core game pack. And so you're going to have a bunch of replayability because of just how many of those come in, right? You're playing literally with a third of them, and you're probably not going to find them all anyway, right? So that's that. And then so how much variability would you get if you only played with the caves over and over again? You'd still get quite a bit for 2 main reasons. Number one, you wouldn't encounter most of the treasures. As a matter of fact, you'd encounter 1/5 of the treasures per game, just making up that number, but that's probably approximately right. And then the missions would be different as well. And then the other part is you have all these characters to choose from, right? So
right. As for the missions, how many is in that per terrain pack? How many like cave missions are there? Just wondering.
There's let me think off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly. Let me think. I've already dealt out a whole bunch of them. I think there's 18 mission. No, that's not right. Let me count. I'll just go to our Kickstarter page real quick. So there's 5 different terrain packs in total. The game comes with 18 missions to start, and it adds 12 more in the expansion, and then we have a stretch goal to add 5 more after that. And they're pretty unique. The missions are one of my favorite aspects of the game because there are expeditions, which is all about, kind of pick up and deliver, or go visit X number of tiles. The quest ones are all about making civilization safe again, right? And then there are the atrocities, which are very unique. Typically, it's anti-civilization, so anti-natives, or it can be doing filthy things at various of the undead treasure locations. Okay, hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, it did actually. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Just kind of a little follow up because I've seen a decent amount of the Barbarian. I don't want to say like what's the chance of getting something better than the Great Axe. I don't know. I have a better way to word that. But how often would a Barbarian switch their weapon out in a game? Is that pretty rare? Just because for the Barbarian it's just great to use the Great Axe.
It really depends. Here's a great example of a weapon that if the Barbarian had found it would have been awesome because it only has 2 mandatory cubes, but it does the same amount of damage. So the Spear of Piercing is really sharp, so it does extra damage. So for 2 cubes, you do 4 damage, just like the Great Axe. And if you arm it, this means if it's armed in both hands, then you can place a cube on that spot and it literally kills anything it hits. So imagine if the Barbarian had gotten this and suddenly he had 4 cubes to place in that round of those rounds of combat that he just went through. And I would say the weapons are probably the most unique. There's some that have automatic cubes on them so now you play 5 cubes, but it's as if you had 6, right? So they're very unique. The treasures are loads of fun. Is Fencer still on? Yeah, Fencer, you've probably had quite a bit of experience with some of these treasures, I bet. Maybe he stepped away. Or Pablo, if you're there as well. Either one of you.
Yeah, my favorite is the Dagger of Bite.
Let's go grab the
That's
dagger.
such a good one.
Yeah, it's in one of the treasure piles. Yep. Dagger Bite's pretty cool because it's extra sharp and it's really quick to wield. And that's a great example of, if you could imagine that, not there, but if you could imagine if the Illusionist had, I probably should, hey, George, stop looking. Sorry. I'm sitting here showing all this stuff and I realized you wanted to play it. Anyway, there's some really cool treasures in there. Let's just leave it at that, right? All right, other questions?
There are some good weapons that the Barbarian could use. It's just that he didn't find. There are too many treasures, so the chances of you finding a specific thing is very rare. That's where the trading with other player comes in play. It's really good to find other players and swap treasures. Sometimes you're a Barbarian and you find only spell books. So and then and the sorcerer can find great axes and weapons and stuff that he could not use. You just find them and trade.
Yep. There's also the game can have a strong co-op aspect to it in that if the Illusionist and the Barbarian had decided to work together, obviously there's the idea that, the Illusionist, if you look, this Illusionist has the ability to move very fast because it's a halfling Illusionist. And so the halfling Illusionist lures a monster and then runs away, or if the halfling Illusionist, is targeted, runs away and the Barbarian gets a free swing, right? So there's a whole bunch of different combinations you can do. Okay, other questions?
Can I add my 2 cents here?
Yeah, please, George.
My perspective. So what this game accomplishes for myself is that every time, I know it's difficult to fathom if you haven't played Magic Realm, which in my mind is the best game before Dragon's Down came. Because I've played all the other games, the usual is that every time is a journey and you don't know how it will evolve. It is the only sandbox game that works every time, and it's so perfectly designed from my point of view that you cannot you don't know what will find. So for instance, my Illusionist here, it started with a staff, which is a standard weapon, which is nothing much, just basic stuff. But he found a very cheap bow in the first civilization location, that short bow, which is ideal because he can wield that and he can do any amount of damage because you roll dice, so that small thing can kill any master in the game. Then you have this guy who is stealthy, hides very easily. He doesn't fatigue his magic cubes when he casts the spells. Of course, we didn't get any chance to spell casting here, but that's one aspect that I always like in this game. The magic is fantastic. And that guy learned a black spell, which is quite powerful. He has a grey spell, which helps him to loot everything. He can wipe clean all the treasure sites with this spell, essentially. And he can be very deadly if he adds poison to his bow. And the plan here, for instance, for me will be to enchant this tile with black magic, so I can easily control that guardian here, and then go to the next tile and enchant it with grey magic, so I have my divination spell ready, so I can loot everything. I was planning to go to the trove, where the barbarian looted some treasures, but I think there are 4 more treasures in there, which can easily get my hands on with my divination spell. Try and sound that tile as well, so it will be very interesting character to play on this go.
So let's even.
The next game.
Hey George, if I can throw something out for everybody, here's one of the cool things, and imagine trying to predict that this is the way the story was going to go, which is he found the Raise Undead spell, which means he can go to where this Death Knight is located. If he enchants this tile, what that means is he gets to put a color of cube in here, and it counts towards his spell. So he puts a black cube in here, and he casts this Raise Undead, thereby controlling the Death Knight. What that means is that this Death Knight, now he can just say, I want you to stay on this side. And I don't want you to target me at all. So the Death Knight is going to stand still, which then means George is going to cast Envenom on his bow, which gives it +1 damage, and then he's going to sit there and take pot shots at the Death Knight, hoping he can kill it while the thing is standing still and not attacking him. And so that's that sandbox aspect of it, where you never know what's going to happen, right? I mean, what a unique combination.
How long does it stand still for?
Well, in this case, it would be combat ends if after 2 rounds nobody's taken any wounds. So in that particular way, he would go, he's going to cast Raise Undead, then he's going to cast Envenom, and he's going to get 2 shots, most likely, at this Death Knight. And Death Knight is pretty tough to kill, because it's armored, and it takes 4 damage. And this thing is, not doing a ton of damage, but suddenly the Envenom spell gives him a chance. Matter of fact, George, if you do that, drop a comment in the session discussion to see if it worked out for you. I'd love to see how that is.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait, because the Envenom also gives 2 wounds. So the first hit we score on the knight, which we are not going to kill him, you're going to wound him twice. So next time his health will be just 2 instead of 4.
I just realized the flaw in our plan, George. George, we got a flaw.
Venom doesn't work against undead. Question about how do you enchant a tile?
Because he could just attack the undead with normal attacks, and he will constantly wound him. And as he is wounding, so something is happening. So the combat continues. You would just have to hit him 4 times, basically.
Yeah, one small chance. He sold his staff, right? If he had kept his staff, he could literally just make the undead stand there while he beats it in the face. So, anyway. Okay. Sorry, what? Somebody was about to ask another question?
Yeah, I was asking, how do you enchant a tile? I've heard that before, but I haven't
it's
seen
an
it
action.
done yet.
Yeah, right here. If you look in the upper right of the screen on the stream, it says enchant. You spend 3 actions, you enchant a tile, you flip the tile over to the other side. You then place a cube that from the supply that matches a color of cube you have. So in this case, he could place a gray or a black, and I have these tiles locked. But if you unlock it, it just flips over, and it changes the paths. Right? It changes the paths, and so now you got a bunch of hidden paths, and it's a little harder to move around. And some of these, like these woods, are really cool when you enchant those. So what would happen is, let me just finish my story, which is it would flip over, and then he would say, I'm going to take a black cube, and I'm going to place it in the tile. Now black magic is everywhere in this tile. So if you had a permanent spell that was powered by black magic, it's active. And the second thing is, if he's going to cast this Raise Undead, he only has to place one cube. This box is satisfied by the enchanted tile, by the cube that's there. And that also doesn't count against his cube limit. So now he's placing more cubes than he could normally place because of the black magic in the ancient hall.
Can you only enchant it with like a magic type of color cube, I guess?
Yeah, you can't enchant it with might. And it's worth noting that, so let's say I'm a total jerk and I'm playing, a character that, like I'm playing the cleric, and I'm in this space right here, right? Knowing that he wants black magic here, I can enchant the tile, which again flips it over. We then chuck this black cube, and I can put any color that I have. The cleric is white magic, and so, if I move after him, I enchant it with white magic just because I'm a jerk, right? To prevent him from being able to go in there and kill the Death Knight. Anyway. All right. Other questions?
Keep enchanting it? Can you just keep enchanting it back and forth then?
Yeah, you can. Very seldom does that happen. Most of the time, enchanting works because somebody wants to, like if you look at these woods tiles, see how this configuration, this tile connects to this tile connects to this tile. When you enchant it, suddenly this tile's dead end, right? So imagine if this was a barbarian and he had moved into the tile, and it was like this, right? And he moves into the tile because he's trying to get over to the Timberlands. I could come in here and enchant the tile and go, yeah, you're going to take the long way. So it's just a bunch of different things you can do.
If you don't have a magic cube available, can you not take the enchant action?
That is correct. You cannot enchant unless you have a magic cube.
Can't enchant if it's wounded, though.
Yeah, and so it's worth noting, it doesn't matter where the cube is. So even if this gray cube was down here and wounded, he can still place a gray magic cube. You're not placing this cube. You're placing a cube from the pool. So having a magic color on your board means you have some level of mastery of that particular color, and therefore can enchant a tile. And the same thing goes for our barbarian. I know we took this stuff off, but he has a green cube. So the barbarian, starting actually even at the beginning of the game with this white cube, could have enchanted a tile. This was because he chose an elf as his lineage, he had the ability to enchant a tile from the very beginning of the game. He's a magic wielding barbarian, which is very different than if he had chosen a dwarf or a human or something else. Okay. Hopefully that answers questions.
Thank you. No, I did. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
that actually means something interesting with the barbarian. He could have enchanted a tile white and then never have to worry about wounding the cube to heal himself constantly.
Yep.
Exactly. This is what I was thinking when I was watching the game. As soon as I came here, I'm like, man, if he had enchanted that tile, he would be invincible because he would be able to cast heal. Oh, I took a wound. Okay, I'll heal the wound. Now I try to attack again. No, he takes 2 wounds. Heal everything, attack.
He couldn't attack in a combat, attack with his great axe and heal at the same time, right?
Correct.
No, but he imagine if because the dragon was attacking 1 damage, right? He was dealing only 1, and the other side he dealt 3. But if he kept attacking, swinging at the speed of 3 all the time, he would eventually hit him, even if he had a lot of small wounds. And then at the end of the combat, he could heal everything for free. Yeah. That's the idea.
And
Like
so
if he,
where that is exciting for me as a designer is, you know, you'd never think, oh, I'm going to be an elf barbarian. You're like, what? But what a cool combination. You don't, yeah, it may be hard for you to kill a bunch of little skittery monsters that are running around, but who cares, right? Let them hit you. Just stand there and punch at them and then heal at the end. What a cool combination.
That's actually when you sent out the
Yeah,
update
yeah.
with the battle mage thing.
Yep.
I read that and I had two things pop up in my head. One, I'm like, that sounds cool, and then the second thing was, it reminds me of a character both in D&D that I played and from a book that I read, and I was just like that. I kind of like the idea of that battle mage.
Yeah. Those are the types of characters. So these are pretty standard characters, right? I mean, you got
Yeah.
right. I mean, I would argue maybe not an enchanter and some of that, but the characters that get added in the expansion are pretty unique. There's an executioner who's and a lot of the characters in the expansion are where they're kind of fighter, kind of spellcaster, right?
They're kind of like a prestige class where it's a step above the defaults.
Yeah, I mean, think of like the battle mage is literally, as I talked about a little bit in the, and not literally, I shouldn't say that, but is kind of the marriage of the warrior and the sorcerer, right?
Mhm.
The executioner is, there's a black knight character you get who's another version of this knight, but a little bit better at fighting the natives. The executioner is a little bit the warlock and a little bit the knight, right? And so there's these really cool and then there's a totally unique character that if you haven't played Magic Realm would be mind-boggling, which is a character called the Soulless. It's literally a ghost, right? It doesn't even have a form, a physical form. And so you start out the game, you have only brown cubes and magic cubes. You don't have any might. You can't carry anything. You can't swing a weapon. But you can cast some really cool spells and cast them really fast.
Are there going to be new spells?
I was actually going to ask that. Is there new spell categories with some of those new classes?
There are not new spells in this expansion. I have various spells designed and play tested that would come out in a future expansion.
So like the battle mage, I think, is it still purple then, kind of like the sorcerer?
Yep.
I can't remember. Okay.
The battle mage gets one purple cube.
Okay.
So it's a little more.
So not casting fireball. Got it.
My favorite, honestly, of these expansion characters is the bard, who has yellow magic. But I just get a biggest kick out of their special ability, which is when you are in a civilization location at the end of the turn, you roll the one of these dice and you just receive that reward, right? And so you go, oh great, I get, I guess it's 7 more gold, right? And what it represents is the bard is musical and literally they're performing. And so they may gain fame or they may gain gold every turn that they're in a civilization location, right?
I mean, that makes sense because a bard gets literally what a bard would do is be at the bar and entertain.
No, exactly, precisely. The paladin earns bonus points for earning titles, right? So that makes sense, right? The paladin is kind of this honored class, and I just can't wait till you guys see these characters, and I'll coordinate once I have to do a little bit more editing on this, but I'll work with Pablo and Fencer on getting the expansion put together in a mod.
I was going to ask, are the expansions going to get added to the module at some point?
What we'll do ultimately is we'll have 3 mods. We'll have the core mod, this one. Hey, and Fencer or Pablo, did you see what I did? I screwed something up. Right there. I sent you a message about it. Yeah, he did. He just done some wonderful work. We'll have 3 mods. We'll have the beginner module, kind of brought up to these standards of this mod. We'll have the core game mod, and then we'll have a mod that's core game plus expansion.
All right, completely unrelated question to the game itself, actually. The background in the mod, is that from something? Or is that like a default pack from somewhere? So like the landscaping stuff. No, I'm talking about like the landscaping pictures and stuff in the background.
The fact you're playing
'Cause-
on a balcony overlooking.
Yeah, because for some reason, like I saw that and I just started going, is that like Skyrim? Hold on a second. Like, where's this from? I feel like I've seen this somewhere before.
Right. I'll let you guys take that conversation offline. Any final questions before I close it down and get her all posted?
I just had a question about future expansions. Are there going to be treasures within treasures?
Yeah, so what he's asking is a Magic Realms specific question. So for those who don't,
Yeah, there's
there's a concept of treasures within treasures, which means when you're doing a search, you might uncover a deep treasure card that says, "Hey, you found the crypt of the night, or the remains of the thief, or other thing," and then that has treasures in it, and then you can loot that particular site. I didn't include that concept in this game, mainly because that's one of the most arduous aspects of terrain setup, or of setting up the game, because you have to make sure, hey, shuffle these and do this and place these cards here, and I didn't want that in this game for obvious reasons, right? I want to be able to set up and be playing in 5-10 minutes, right? So I didn't include it. But absolutely, I think that's such a cool concept that I'd love to see that in a future.
Sorry, guys, I have to bid you farewell. It's
George, I'll
30
I'll send you the player board, or the save
Okay,
game, and
thank
you
you.
can let us know how it all goes.
Cheers, everyone. Good night. Bye. Bye.
So,
all right. Good night.
that was a long answer to say, yeah, I would. I haven't designed it, but it's not difficult, and it's certainly within the game system.
All right. Cool.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Appreciate everybody attending for so long. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right.
You too,
Bye.
man. Thanks for the game. Bye bye.
Take care, all.